Thank you so much, Dr. Shiro. And now I'll welcome to the table Judge Fidel, Judge Noel Fidel, Cindy Schlosser, and Marco Galvi. I'll put up names there for you.
First, thank you to Evelyn Cruz and to the staff at law school. I spent 6 very good years for hosting this. I was here after my judicial career, and can't tell you what a treat it is for a lawyer to go back to law school when you actually know something about what you're studying again, and bring some experience to the studies. And there's no more intense way to study law than to have to teach it. So it's good to be back, and thank you to Evelyn and the staff, and to Human Rights First for putting on this program. I will...
Can you speak up, please?
Yeah, sure. Is this a mic? I'll move it closer.
It's not a mic, actually. It's just a recording.
Oh, well, psychologically, it'll remind me to speak up.
Just hold it up now.
Yeah, that would do it. Thanks. My own experience with the world of immigration and detention has come during the last 8 years or so. Oh, thanks. When I've been on the board and chairing the board of the Florence Immigrant and Refugee Rights Project, and you'll be hearing from others from the project, from the board and the staff later, and most immediately from Cindy Schlosser, who is on this panel and is our social services coordinator, and whose job takes her from Florence to Eloy to Phoenix and back again, circuit riding among all of the places where we staff and provide services to those who are in detention, including juveniles in detention, who range in age from almost 18 to what, 5? Is that the youngest that we see? And we'll hear on this panel from Marco Galvino, who has been a detainee, and who will describe his experiences as such. First, let me expand just briefly on the remarks that Commissioner Shiro made a few moments ago. There are, in any given day, some 33,400, according to Commissioner Shiro, immigrants in detention in the United States, in facilities around the United States, most of them remote. These include asylum seekers who have come here hoping to qualify under United States law for asylum or refugees, and they're subject to the mandatory detention requirements that Commissioner Shiro spoke of. The cost of detention is estimated to be something around $122 per day per detainee. The costs for alternative release programs is estimated varyingly from anywhere from $8.50 to $22 a day for those on release in various degrees of supervision. With the budgetary problems that this country is confronting and that have been so much a part of the debates in this election year, why aren't we focusing more on those cost differences? The cost savings is clear. There are, to be sure, concerns with effective supervision, making sure that those who are on release will appear for various proceedings as required, and that has been addressed. It was addressed in the 80s and 90s by a pilot program run by the Vera Institute. It's being addressed now by a pilot program run by the Lutheran, the LIRS, which has issued papers and is undertaking studies on the effectiveness of its present pilot program. We need to focus this morning on what an example of an effective release program can be, and talk somewhat about the individualized assessment programs for detainees that would be necessary, and what they might involve in order to meet the kinds of security issues that are part of the concern. But in order to do that, in order to have that focus and make it part of the discussion, we need to move, as Commissioner Schiro urged us to do a moment ago, from a kind of abstract focus on the immigrant population as a whole, one that, as she says, blurs the conversation, to an individualized focus on the kinds of people who are in detention, the kinds of people who are in mandatory detention, and what it would take to achieve both the cost savings and the human savings that we could achieve by moving toward individualized assessment and incarceration alternatives. With that introduction, let me turn first to Cindy, who can tell us about her experience with these issues.
Thank you, everybody, for coming and engaging in these really incredible conversations that are very important to not only what's going on here in Arizona, but across the country. I'll just... Is everybody able to hear this now? Okay. So yeah, as Noel said, I work with the Florence Immigrant and Refugee Rights Project, which is an office of a nonprofit organization that provides free legal services to individuals who are in immigration custody, and we're going through legal immigration proceedings in front of an immigration judge. Currently, on any given day in Arizona, there are around 3,000 individuals who are in ICE custody in Arizona, and that, like Noel said earlier, I don't know if you want to call me.
No, I'm doing business as no.
That includes unaccompanied minors who are in the custody of the Office of Refugee Resettlement through ICE, as well as adults who are detained in Florence and Eloy, which is about an hour to an hour and a half from Phoenix and Tucson. So they're in really remote locations, which is true of most detention facilities around the country. So we work, the focus of the Florence Project is to provide legal services to these individuals. And initially, the individuals who started working at the Florence Project focused solely on the legal issues that people were confronted with when they were going through proceedings. And as the project grew and they delved further into the issues, they saw that there were other needs and other issues that came up. And so the role of social services coordinator or social worker they saw that as also being necessary to address other needs that folks were facing while in custody. And so part of my role as the social services coordinator, together with other attorneys and legal assistants on the staff, is to, as I said before, there are 3,000 folks in custody only in Arizona, and that other organizations and individuals around the country who are working with in similar capacities are kind of in a response mode to this huge number of people that we're trying to work with. And I see some other folks who work with individuals in detention nodding their heads, and the Restoration Project as well, that while addressing the gaping wound of